Okay, hi guys. It's been a long time since I've put my face in front of the camera. Well, this side of the camera anyway. So I just thought I'd touch base. Recently I've had a few more people sub to my channel, so I just want to welcome the new subs. I don't actually have a lot of content on there. I have put a few recent ones of some photography I've been doing. I shot the moon the other night. I went over to Redcliffe, which is not far from where I live here and where I grew up. And it's right on the beachfront, and I was hoping to get moonrise, which was due to come up over. I think it was 6:52, but there was a little bit of cloud on the horizon, so I didn't end up getting moonrise. But probably 20 minutes later I managed to see it peek through the clouds and got a few shots of it, a little bit of footage. I'm still trying to learn the P900. There's so much more that it can do, and I'm pretty much just doing a lot of automatic stuff at the, having it on auto, and yeah, so I really need to do a few tutorials and learn a bit more about how to manually do settings on the P900. I'm not really a great photographer, I'm more just a hobby photographer. My mother, my late mum, was actually a really good photographer. She did photographic work all her life, right from when she was 14 years old. She did darkroom developing in the old 35mm film cameras. She did all sorts of different photography, portraits, weddings, schools, school photography, scenic, architectural, all sorts of stuff. She was an artist as well as a photographer, so she also did the old photo retouching, the manual retouching with the dyes and the very, very fine brushes, way before digital, whereas now it's just a press of a button, or you've got Photoshop and things like that. Well, she'd actually be horrified to think that yeah, people could retouch well, even before she passed away, she obviously knew about digital photography, but she was very much an analog, old school girl. So yeah, so I've inherited a little bit of her photographic knowledge and passion, but I'm nowhere near where she was with it. So I'm just very much the hobbyist, but I do enjoy it, and I'm so glad I got the P900. So if you want to check out any of my photography, I've got a little bit of it up at the moment on one of my Facebook pages, which is Amanda H. McLeod. That's MCLEOD photography. So yeah, if you want to check that out on Facebook. Okay, yeah, just wanted to, as I say, touch base with everybody, and I've got to stop saying sorry, it's just, yeah, I have all these things I want to talk about, and then as soon as the camera's on, it all goes out. I've got a couple of notes here though. Been down a few rabbit holes again recently. I mean, of course, I've done all the, in the last few years, with all the, false events and things like that. Obviously, flat earth, pharmaceuticals, all sorts, everything. Recently I stumbled across the mud floods in Tartaria, as a lot of people in the community have. Still don't quite know where I sit with it all or how I feel about it. There's definitely merit in it. I've been watching Flat Earth British Marty Leeds channel, way before Tartaria and the mud floods. I've been following Martin for quite a few years now, pretty much since I became a flat earther about 3 years ago. And I really enjoy his presentations, and he's got a lot of good content and a lot of really valid points. And I'm actually interested to go into the city that's the capital city that's closest to where I live, which is in Queensland, Australia. So the capital of Queensland is Brisbane. So I'd like to go into Brisbane and have a look at some of the architecture and things like that, and see if I can see anything that looks a little bit suspicious. Yeah, so yeah, haven't really put that Tartaria and mudflood hat on yet, but I'm definitely leaving it on the table, as Matt would say from Quantum of Conscience. Okay, yeah, oh, that's something I've written down here. It's okay not to know. Like, a lot of people, I think, when they start looking at different things, and especially when they feel that they've got some sort of expertise because they've been studying it for quite a while, or really, put all their chips in one basket, or eggs in one basket, all the chips on one number, that they feel so passionate about it and they're not looking outside the box, or they're not prepared to say when they don't know something. And I'm very much an open book, and I will say if I don't know something, and I think it's okay not to know. I think it's really good to be completely open-minded and open to everything but attached to nothing, to quote a saying from Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer. So yeah, I'm, as I say, still going down lots of rabbit holes, but also trying to find a bit of balance, because I have gone through a little bit of depression over the last couple of years with different things going on in my life, and also with all the stuff that we're finding out about the world, you know, the satanic ritual abuse. I mean, obviously I've known for a long time, way before I was a flat earther. I've known for a long time, even going back into the 80s, I knew that the World Health Organization were not what they touted to be, and that they were responsible for the AIDS virus, even if it is what we're told it is. I've known ever since I was a teenager, really, that this world isn't what we think it is or what we've been told it is. But I guess it's ramped up in, or amped up in recent times with all the disclosure about different things. You know, the Hollywood and entertainment and music industries are being exposed. You know, so many of our icons and our idols are coming crashing down, and it's good. I mean, we're not really supposed to have idols and icons. We are supposed to feel confident enough in our own abilities and our own self-worth to not put other people up on a higher pedestal than we are. I mean, we're all equal. We all have different talents, and we all have different goals and different roles in life, but you know, there shouldn't be people that we look up. I mean, yeah, we can look up to someone and be proud of someone and admire someone, but we really shouldn't idolise people. And so I've learnt quick smart in recent times not to do that. I mean, even as recently as the last few weeks, I went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I know a lot of you, Carl, I know you'll be watching this. I know a lot of you will be going, oh my God, why? You know, but I have followed Queen and been a fan of Queen's music ever since I was a teenager. I've loved Freddie Mercury, and I know that the story that they're telling in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody is not exactly how it went down, or probably nowhere near how it went down. I mean, it's obviously the timelines have been shifted somewhat, and there's been a lot of poetic license injected into the movie, because to get everything squashed into a 2.5 hour movie, or however long it was, they've had to change the sequence of events and fabricate a little bit to make it more sensationalised, I guess, and maybe take other things out that they didn't really want to have in there, because I know Brian May and Roger Taylor, and probably to a point John Deacon, although he's pretty much a recluse now and has been for quite some time. Actually, not long after Freddie passed away, he sort of became a recluse. But I know they didn't want Freddie painted in a certain light. They wanted to celebrate his life and his legacy and his music and all that sort of stuff. So they made the movie, you know, they didn't want to bring out all his, how do I word it? You know, all the debauchery and stuff that he was getting into. And I get that. I do understand that, you know, like, especially with the new generations coming through that are starting to turn on to Queen music. They just really wanted it to be about the music. So I get all that. I get that, yeah, the timelines were changed and they sort of changed the sequence of events and injected things and took things out and things like that. But I'm talking at an even deeper level, that, you know, even the official biographies, which I've got, you know, quite a few books on my biography bookshelf about Queen and Freddie Mercury and the band and whatnot. And, I mean, even all those official biographies, I know that's not the real story. So it's been a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but I still love the music. And like Mark Devlin from Musical Truths, he wrote the books Musical Truths 1 and 2. And he's a really good person to follow if you're into wanting to find out about what goes on behind the scenes in the music industry and how it's been, well, I was going to say how it's been infiltrated, but it probably hasn't even really been infiltrated. It's been like that right from the get-go, I'd say. You know, the social engineering aspect of it and the control and the puppeteering and all that sort of stuff that goes on within the music industry. Even all the, you know, satanic side of it and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, he's a really good one if you're wanting to sort of sink your teeth into more of that sort of stuff. And I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, but Mark, he even admits after all his research and his books that he's done and everything, that he still listens to the music because, and Mike Williams is another one, Sage of Quay, Radio Hour on YouTube. Mike has also got the Paul is Dead channel on YouTube as well, or one of the Paul is Dead research channels, and he does phenomenal work on the whole Paul is Dead conspiracy, or yeah, it's not well, it is a conspiracy, I guess, if you use the term correctly. They've conspired against us to perpetrate that lie. But anyway, but yeah, Mike still gets into the music and loves the Beatles, but he as well has realised, you know, he used to idolise the Beatles and grew up with them and has got, you know, lots of their albums and books and all sorts of stuff. But has come to the realisation that they are not what we were led to believe in the mainstream. So yeah, it has been quite a journey to get to the point that I am now. I mean, I used to absolutely love U2. You know, their music, their earlier stuff, not in recent times, but you know, their 80s and 90s stuff particularly. Used to put, you know, make my spine tingle. You know, I had shivers down my spine and the hairs on the back of my neck used to stand on end listening to things like, you know, New Year's Day and Gloria and Sunday Bloody Sunday and, you know, all those old classic U2 songs. But now I absolutely despise Bono, and it's funny because today when I was driving my car, a song came on the radio. It was a U2 song, and I'm actually like, oh God, I'm turning it off. And it's like, I never would have thought in a million years that I would have turned U2 off. And I still have their music in my music collection. I've got vinyl and CDs and videos and DVDs. And I'm not about to go throwing them out or saying I'll never play them again, but yeah, having different eyes and ears now and realising what they're all about and what goes on behind the scenes has been a huge eye-opener. So, yeah, but I'm still enjoying the music. So, but I'm also looking more towards alternative music and more truth music, you know, from truth channels and people that are really authentic and not into the social engineering aspect of the fine art of music. Okay, yeah, so with regards to sort of going down all these rabbit holes and feeling a bit down and depressed at times, especially when you get into really heavy subjects, I've had to pull back sometimes and really get back to nature, get to the beach, work on staying present, which is always hard, especially when we're so busy, but I'm really this year trying to really start focusing on being present and stilling myself and getting back into my meditations and things like that. I've always been somewhat spiritual and into spiritual practices, but the last few years, particularly since doing all this mega amounts of research and truth seeking, a lot of that has gone on the back burner, and I really need to sort of get centered and balanced again. And yes, it's good to know the evil and the darkness in the world, because until you realize it's there, you can't shine a light on it, and you can't, you know, like when I was into the spiritual stuff years ago, I was kind of like a bury your head in the sand, and oh, you know, if you pretend it's not there, or if you don't talk about it, it'll go away. or, you know, you better not talk negatively because you'll attract that stuff to you, or, you know, you better not focus on negative things. But I've realised over the last few years that even the, you know, so-called New Age and spiritual movements have been psyopted and infiltrated and socially engineered. So even that's been a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But I think I'm a bit more balanced now with the way I look at the world. And I do see that there is darkness there, but I also know that by knowing what your enemy is and your can't get my words out. Yeah, when you know what your enemy is, you're better able to arm yourself and to fight it, and to shine light on it. And I think this is the age of shining light on everything. Yeah, so much is coming to the fore these days. So yeah, but going to start spending a bit more time doing some meditation and really trying to get back in touch with my connection to source energy, to God, to the Creator, however you want to use the verbiage. Stilling the mind. And I'm a vegan as well. You know, talking about being balanced. I think it's been over a year. Yeah, it'll be nearly 18 months, I suppose, now. I've been vegetarian for many, many years, and pescatarian on and off throughout that vegetarian stage. But yeah, about 18 months ago I became vegan, and I know it pushes a lot of buttons and a lot of triggers with people, and there's no judgment. My husband still eats meat. I was going to say my children still eat meat, but my daughter's actually decided to go, well, she went full on from meat eater to vegan, and then after a couple of weeks decided to just go vegetarian because the vegan was just too much for her in one go. But as I said to her, it took me years to get to where I am now, so it's not an overnight process. But there's no judgment. My son, daughter-in-law, other family members, my sister, a lot of my friends are still meat eaters. There's no judgment, but just personally for me, I feel a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot healthier, a lot more clear-headed. Still got a ways to go. I want to do some juicing cleanses and things like that, but definitely feel better for being vegan. And I also feel better for what I'm doing, you know, like as far as the humanitarian side of it goes, and you know, doing no harm and helping to save some animals. So now what else have I got on my notes? Oh yeah, and water, that's a good one too. Pure water. I don't have a distiller at the moment, but it is on my shopping list at some stage. But at the moment I do buy pure, 100% chlorine-free, fluoride-free, and I do have a tester. I've got a one of those little water testers, and these always come in at 0. And I don't always buy the plastic bottles, although these are supposed to be. They do say BPA free, but I often get the casks of water, the puree water. So yeah, drinking heaps of water too is helping to sort of keep me balanced and clear. Okay, what else have I got on my list? Okay, freedom of speech. Well, I'll bring that back in later because I've got a little announcement to make a bit later in this video. I'm not going to make it a very long video because I know it takes ages on my slow computer to upload, but I just really wanted to say a few things. So let's see. Well, I'm probably just about there. I just wanted to have a shout out for a few of the people that I've been following in recent times, or not so recent times, you know, just the last few years, I guess, and in, you know, the last recent weeks. Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance, I've been following him for quite some time, and he's doing a lot of really good activism at the moment in Houston, where he lives. He's been going to council meetings and bringing up the 5G situation there, trying to sort of raise awareness and ask the questions about, you know, have they done the right protocols as far as, you know, the health risks, investigating the health risks before they start rolling it out. I mean, obviously they're not, they haven't been doing this. And apparently the mayor of Houston is getting his palms greased, I think. So obviously he's going to be wanting to roll it out as quickly as possible and to be the city to, you know, to be the first. But Derrick is really trying to put a spanner in the works there. So yeah, if you want to get behind Derrick, the consciousresistance.org, I think it is, or the Conscious Resistance Network, something like that anyway, but you'll find him on YouTube. Mentioned before, Mike Williams and Mark Devlin. Always tune in to whatever they've got going, just because I'm a musician myself, and also I just resonate with them. I feel they're from my tribe. I've said that to Mike before too, and I think he gets that. Yeah, so Flat Earth Focker, he's a recent one that in recent months that I've started to follow, Mac. And I'm sort of really on board with his thing, you know, the 511 that he's wanting to do as far as ending human slavery and, you know, doing something in your community and in your town and in your area to start raising awareness. We don't have to slap people in the face with flat earth and things like that, although, you know, that's good too. But even just raising awareness that you know, the government are not what you think. They're not there to help. They're there to hinder our progress in this place that we find ourselves. And we are essentially slaves, even though we don't have chains around our ankles, but we are slaves. So just, yeah, raising awareness. So I'm really loving what Mac is doing, and his flat smacking as well. Brian Staveley, oh my God. I am so glad. I don't even know how I might have been Patricia maybe, although she only had him on recently, so I don't know, maybe it was someone else. But anyway, somehow I came across Brian, I don't know, a few months ago, I suppose. I don't know, it's really hard these days to have time perception because everything's going so quickly and we're learning so much in a very, very short space of time. So yeah, time feels really weird at the moment. I don't know, you know, months feel like years and a day feels like a week sometimes, and then other times you think, oh, where did that day go? I haven't, you know, done hardly anything that I wanted to do, and yeah, so it's just weird. But anyway, at some point recently I came across Brian from the Real News Online, and I've really been enjoying his Mandela Effect videos and his other, you know, 9/11 and other event videos. I actually sent him a couple of clips that I had recorded off my TV with some, what do they call it? Can't think of the term now. But it's when there's a Mandela effect and residue, with some residue. I think one, actually both of them were Sex in the City. And there was a couple of TV shows that I had recorded, and they actually, the actors in the TV shows reference sex in the city. So I'm like, well, why would they say in the city if it never used to be that, if it's never been that, because now it's apparently always been sex and the city. So there was that one. Yeah, I've been Mandela affected. Heaps of ones, I won't get into it now, that could be a whole other video. But yeah, I'm really loving Brian's stuff, and he's really getting the message out there to people that it's not just it's not a psyop, it's not just people misremembering. It is something. We don't know what it is, and it's, like I said before, it's okay to say you don't know. But it's very interesting, and sometimes it can be a little bit freaky. But anyway, it's something that's happening to a lot of people. The Quantum of Conscience, Matt, I've been really enjoying his reading of his book, and also anything that he does. Every time I see a little notification from his channel, I try and get there as soon as I can. I really enjoy his musings. Marty Leeds, oh my God, he's another one. I absolutely love Marty Leeds, and I feel like I'm in a university when I listen to one of his lectures. I come away with so much, and he's just so practical, down to earth, brings mathematics to a level that I can understand, because I was a total flunk at maths, but I really enjoy his teachings on gematria and de-occulting things. Because I actually studied, I've got a master's actually in esotericism. I studied astrology, esoteric astrology and esoteric psychology back in the 90s, and I actually got a master's degree. Not that it was, it wasn't a mainstream university that I attended, it was more of an alternative school. Yeah, I learnt so much. And now, you know, you've got all these people jumping on the Freemasons and anyone that studied esoteric things. It's, oh, that's Satanism and that's devil work, you know, and it's not. And Marty really emphasises that in his teachings, that, you know, all these symbols and signs and things that we see and all the esoteric stuff, yes, it's been hijacked, and yes, it's been turned, you know, on its head and 180'd by the powers that should not be, and the puppet masters, as he calls them, or, you know, I think, or a few people call them puppet masters. I think Matt from Quantum of Conscience, yeah, often refers to them as the puppet masters. Yeah, but in essence, I mean, all the esoteric teachings, there is so much truth in them, so it's good to not throw out the baby with the bathwater. So anyway, yeah, getting back to Marty, love his stuff, and I love his humour. He's so funny. I always get a good laugh, literally laugh out loud from his stuff. As I mentioned before, Martin Leedtke from Flat Earth British, always love Martin, but he's getting so much more professional and has done, you know, has been for quite some time. I just love his presentations. And also Charlie Freak from Freak Sense TV, and Randy Morgan's from Off Planet Radio. Actually, speaking of Off Planet Radio, they have recently put some stuff up. I think the woman's name's Kim, and the guy is Thomas Williams, and it's about the, I think it's called Mana, or the Mana Trust. So that's, I won't. Hi guys, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The camera just shut off. Maybe there's a time limit on the amount that you can record on that. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Randy Morgan, Off Planet Radio, the Mana Trust. So look into that. It's a huge subject. I won't get into it here, but look into that. Anyway, before the camera cuts out again, I'm not sure if it's the battery. The big announcement. I'm wanting to start my own regular podcast here in Australia. I think the only other Australians that I know that are doing anything on a regular basis, although I could be wrong because obviously I don't watch every single channel on YouTube in the truth community, but the ones that are on my radar, the only ones that I really know of are Santos Bonacci, who actually just lives up the coast here, not far, about 45 minutes, an hour away from me, and he's promised me that we'll get together at some stage, but I know how busy he is, so hopefully that'll happen at some stage soon and I'll get to meet him in the flesh. And the only other one is Max Egan. Now, I know Max Egan is not a flat earther, but he does have a lot of good stuff, and I've followed a lot of his content. But other than that, I don't know of anyone else really in Australia that is doing anything, so I'm not really one to get out on the streets and do activism like Joshua from, oh my God, Josh, I can't remember your channel, it's just gone. I should know it, but, Authentic Intent, of course, sorry, my darling. Yes, Authentic Intent, even Flat Earth Focker, who else? I've gone blank. Dell. There's probably so many more, and you're screaming at me right now. But yeah, all the activists that get out there in front of people. That's not really me. Maybe one day I might build up the courage to do that, but at the moment I don't feel I could. Or I'll rephrase it. I don't feel motivated at the moment to do that, but it's not completely off the table. But I do want to contribute something to the community, and I'd really like to build my channel a little bit to be able to do that, to get out to a wider audience and hopefully get more Australians on board with the whole truth community and the flat earth community. So I'm actually wanting to start my own podcast and interview show similar to what Patricia does with Flat Earth and Hot Potatoes, and what Brian Staveley has been doing with his recent collection of interview videos. So yeah, just getting guests on, talking a little bit about where they come from, how they got into what they're into, you know, whether it's, you know, 9/11 or vaccines or community gardening or health and wellness issues, to flat earth, to, you know, whatever it may be, to spiritual things, to astrology, to whatever. I'm open to anything and everything. But I just really would like to, start getting a bit of an Australian point of view and a bit of an Australian standing in the community. So, so having said that though, I've got absolutely no tech skills whatsoever, or I'm very, very basic with the computer. I've got quite a slow laptop. I don't really have any, you know, equipment other than the laptop and, you know, a set of headphones. I do have OBS loaded on, the free version of OBS loaded on my laptop, and I've also got Google Hangouts and Zoom. So I'm not quite sure how to go about it. I'm open for suggestions. So if any of you guys out there that already do a lot of videos where they're interviewing people and podcasts, you know, like Mike, Brian, Patricia, Martin, people like that, if you can offer me any hints or any advice or just how to go about it, I'll probably do a couple of test runs, so you might see a few little dodgy things happening on the channel for, you know, for a little bit until I get into the swing of things. But yeah, if you've got any things that you can, you know, any knowledge you can impart, and any things that you can help me with regards to setting up my podcast, I don't even know what I'm going to call it. It'll be on this channel. I won't set up a whole new channel for it. I'll keep it all here. But I'll probably call it a certain, you know, name, like the show a certain name, so that you can follow it. I don't know whether it will be weekly or monthly. Probably initially I might just do monthly until I get a little bit more au fait with how to do it. So, but yeah, please leave comments below, or those that are friends with me on Facebook, maybe message me, or we could maybe even set up a Skype call at some stage to go through, you know, helping me set it up. I would be eternally grateful if you could do that. So, so I'm excited to announce that. I don't know when it's going to start. As I said, at the moment, it's just an idea that I've got. It might take a few weeks, a couple of months or whatever, but I do want to do it. So, and if you'd like to also be interviewed on my podcast, obviously I'll be looking for people to interview. I'm looking for Australians as well. Like, I really want to build up the Australian contingent of the Truther movement. So Carl, I'll be searching you out, and any other Australians out there that are into, you know, all these truth subjects. If you want to get in touch with me, my email is a_McLeod, that's MCLEOD 7@hotmail.com. So you can email me, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can personal message me, or you can leave a comment below. So, but I really, really would like, some people to interview, and also some tips on actually how to go about setting up the whole thing. I don't know whether to do it through Google Hangouts or Skype, or and even using those, you know, and OBS. I'm just, completely illiterate in that area, like computer illiterate. And just lastly, if you don't already know, last year I got my book published. I don't know if you can see that. I think the light's shining off it. It's called Returning Home, My Journey of a Lifetime. It's my memoirs, and I was inspired to write it by a series of events that happened to me and my family in 2012. So it's from what I've been told, I'm not blowing my own horn or anything, but from people that have already read it, I've had really good reviews, and I've been told that they couldn't put it down, and it's been yeah, really well received. So you can order it directly through me. I do deliver free within my area, in the Moreton Bay regional area. So that's Redcliffe, Burpengary, Narang Bar, Pine Rivers area, up to, you know, Caboolture, Alimba, Bribie Island, all that area. Maybe even the Sunshine Coast, depending if I'm going up that way. Yeah, so I do signed copies and deliver them free. But you can also order it online. You can either order the hard copy book, or you can get the ebook, and you can get it at returninghomeMyJourneyOfALifetime.com. So and it's yeah, quite a big thick book. I think it's 440 pages or something like that. So yeah, not quite as big as memoirs, Billy Shears. But yeah, so just a little bit of a shameless plug there for the book. Okay, so that's it for me for today, guys. I'm not sure when I will get this up. Oh yeah, today, what's today's date? Yesterday was the full moon, 21st. No, it was Monday the 21st, 22nd. Today's the 23rd. See, I'm losing track of time. Yeah, 23rd, I think, January 2019, or as Martin says, or so they say. Okay, guys, yeah, keep it flat, stay in truth, and be centered, breathe, drink pure water, and love one another. And I'll talk soon. Ciao. Oh.